You obviously have a player like Caitlin who's on the team. I have to ask, like, when did you first hear about her, and then what were your first impressions of her when she got to campus?
Yeah, she had come on a couple visits, and she was like a big name in Iowa. So I had heard about her. I wasn't from Iowa, so I didn't know as much in that like all Iowa attack, like, and so I had heard about this Caitlin Clark, and I was like watching videos of her just like having like 40 points, like averaging a million in high school. And I was like, oh, this girl thinks she's gonna come here and rule the world.
Clark, a deep three!
The Las Vegas Aces gave Kate Martin 11 minutes a game. Now brand new footage is hitting the internet, and WNBA fans are all asking the same thing. Did Vegas just make a massive mistake? Because the Kate Martin showing up this offseason does not look like the same player who spent a year buried on a championship bench. She looks faster, she looks stronger, she looks like someone who has been quietly building towards something.
Good, now see it? We're gonna get here, pivot, set, shoot. Work around the ball. There you go. I like that one the best. That was really good. Best hands. Good. Fight it, good, get him ball. Good. Good. Now.
And if this version is real, the Golden State Valkyries may have just made the smartest pickup of the entire expansion process. Even Caitlin Clark saw it coming. The moment Golden State selected Martin, Clark posted "Let's go Cater." No hesitation, no waiting to see how it played out. Just immediate, genuine support for her former Iowa teammate. And after watching this new footage, a lot more people are starting to understand exactly why Clark didn't need a second to think about it. Kate Martin entered the WNBA with real momentum behind her. At Iowa, she was never just Caitlin Clark's teammate, she was a cornerstone. 13 points a game, nearly 7 rebounds, 2 straight national title appearances, the ability to defend multiple positions, and an instinct for doing whatever the team actually needed on a given night.
Thank God somebody said it. Like, somebody had to say it. And like, at least it's Kate Martin, who's been around the circus for enough times. And by the circus, I don't mean the Caitlin Clark circus as like a negative thing. It's sports. It's sports. It was a circus being on Jordan's Bulls. It was a circus being on the freaking Dream Team. It was a circus being on the Warriors for a while. Like, it's a circus being a member of the Beatles. Like, anything that's a phenomenon, there's a circus around it, no matter what. And she was part of it in Iowa, which ironically, in my opinion, the Iowa circus was bigger. It was actually bigger than the Fever circus. But anyway, let's take a listen to what Kate Martin said.
Caitlin and our whole entire Iowa squad, we did like such a good job of learning how to block out outside noise whenever we were in the heat of that, because it's like the negative stuff.
She hit the timely threes. She won the loose balls. She made the smart pass instead of the flashy one. She was everything a winning team needs from a player who doesn't require the spotlight to be effective. That's exactly why so many people believed she'd fit seamlessly in the pros. Then the Aces took her 18th overall. On paper, it sounded ideal. Championship culture, elite veterans, winning habits baked into everything. But what looked perfect quickly became suffocating because the minutes simply never came. 11.5 minutes a game, 2.5 points. A roster already packed wall to wall with Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, and Chelsea Gray left almost no room for a rookie to actually develop. And once Gray came back healthy, Martin's role shrank even further. By the playoffs, she was averaging 3 minutes across 6 games. 3 minutes. That's not development. That's just existing on a roster. Here's what's interesting though. Vegas barely played her, and fans still never let go. Her jersey sales stayed strong. Her popularity kept growing. Social media buzz around Kate Martin never really died down the way it does for players who disappear into a bench role. That tells you something. People saw value the box score wasn't showing. People believed there was more there waiting to come out. And now Golden State clearly believes it too. When the Valkyries selected Martin, one detail stood out. She was packed up and out of Vegas within 48 hours, cleared her locker, loaded up her apartment, moved on fast. That energy matters. It didn't feel like someone sad to leave. It felt like someone who had been waiting for the door to open and sprinted through it the second it did. Now comes the part the rest of the league should actually be paying attention to: the training footage. Because Martin doesn't just look in shape, She looks transformed. Explosive single-leg drills, posterior chain work, live one-on-one reps, acceleration shooting, defensive movement sequences, and footage of Martin touching the rim. This isn't random content thrown together for Instagram. This is targeted athletic development. This is a player who identified her weaknesses and went after them specifically. If you know basketball, you know why the single-leg explosiveness work matters most. Quicker first step, better finishing through contact, stronger closeouts on defense, more power changing direction, more lift on pull-up jumpers. That means the version of Kate Martin who already had basketball, IQ, toughness, rebounding instincts, and 2 Final Four runs under pressure may now have upgraded physical tools on top of everything she already brought. Skill and confidence is good. Skill, confidence, and genuine athletic growth. That's what creates breakout seasons. And Golden State might be the exact right place for it to happen. Unlike Vegas, this isn't a roster where every role was already locked up by veterans with rings. The Valkyries are still building. Their identity, their culture, their trust. That means real minutes, real responsibility, room to make mistakes and grow through them instead of getting pulled after 3 possessions. Coach Natalie Nikas already had a relationship with Martin going into this, and the Valkyries were specifically looking for players who fit what they were building. That's not nothing. For the first time in her pro career, Martin is walking into an environment that actually wants to unlock her. That changes everything about how a player develops. Then add the fan factor on top of it. Kate Martin is already one of the most popular names connected to the Valkyries brand before the team has played a single regular season game. Iowa fans are locked in, Clark fans are locked in. General basketball fans who watched her grind through a limited role with grace are already rooting for her. Golden State fans want faces to rally around. That's a powerful combination, and some players genuinely rise when the expectations and the energy around them rise. Martin has done it before. She played alongside the most talked about player in women's basketball for years and still found ways to matter every single night. Not because she demanded attention, because she made an impact. That usually translates. Now about Clark's reaction, because people keep treating it like it's just a friendship moment and moving on. Clark knows exactly what Kate Martin looks like when she's trusted and given room to operate. She saw it in practice every day. She saw it in Final Four runs. She saw it in the pressure moments that decide championship games. Clark knows the basketball player Martin is when the environment is right. So when she immediately celebrated that Golden State pick, that wasn't just being a supportive friend. That was someone who has seen the real version of Kate Martin saying, yeah, this makes sense. If Clark believes this opportunity matters, that should mean something to everyone watching. Now picture the opening stretch of this season. Golden State gives Martin real minutes. She's defending multiple positions, hitting open threes, winning loose balls, rebounding over bigger players, making the winning plays that don't end up in the highlights. And underneath all of that is a more explosive, more physically developed athlete than the one Vegas had. Suddenly the narrative shifts fast. Suddenly people are asking why Vegas didn't use her more. Suddenly Golden State looks like the smartest team in the room. That's why this story has real legs. Fans love the overlooked player. Fans love watching someone leave a small role and explode somewhere new. And Kate Martin checks every single box of that story. The Aces may still be contenders this season, probably are. But if Martin breaks out in Golden State, Vegas is going to hear about it all year long. Every big game, every viral clip, every clutch 3 or crucial defensive stop will remind people of exactly one thing. They had her and barely used her. The Valkyries might be the ones who figure out what she actually is. And if this new footage is any kind of preview, the rest of the WNBA should be paying attention right now, because Kate Martin may not just be improving this offseason, she may finally be arriving. So I want to know, did the Las Vegas Aces make a massive mistake with Kate Martin? And is this the season she breaks out with Golden State? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're still watching, comment Money Martin.
One thing I can say today for sure is that the Indiana Fever fans will not let any stone go without being revealed and turned over, dog. We could all say that as Indiana Fever fans. Now, we know that the New York Liberty hosted the Indiana Fever this past weekend. And there was a lot of things that happened in this game. And ultimately, the Indiana Fever left New York City feeling like they robbed them of the Statue of Liberty, bro. They beat them so bad.
Clark, a deep three.
Everything changed the second Sophie Cunningham got hit. Not after a timeout, not after some big speech. Right there on the floor, one hard collision with Breanna Stewart, and every Fever fan felt it in their chest at the same time. The Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty game was already physical before that play. Both teams were throwing their weight around, testing each other, making it clear this wasn't going to be a clean 40 minutes. But that moment with Sophie, that's when everything actually shifted. You could feel it through the screen. And here's the thing, Indiana didn't look rattled. They looked dangerous. The player who flipped most noticeably was the one New York should have never given a reason to flip.
The WNBA referees is going to try to do everything in their power to make sure the Fever, for whatever reason, does not become the face of this league. And at the end of the day, they're the modern-day Lakers, and can't nobody stop them because the fans are behind them. Now, with that being said, there's countless plays and stuff that is starting to come out.
Caitlin Clark didn't yell. She didn't stare anyone down. She didn't chase drama. She just changed. Her pace, her reads, the way she was moving the ball, all of it sharpened in real time. She stopped playing within New York's game and started forcing them into hers. That's so much harder to deal with than sideline explosions because you can't slow it down with a foul. You can't scheme your way out of it at halftime. Once Clark decided she was taking the wheel, that was it. Because this was supposed to be just another early Fever Liberty battle, a physical game, a high-energy matchup where bodies hit the floor, defenders fight over screens, and nobody gives up easy space. But it never felt small.
Then it's another slow-mo of the cheap shot by Breanna Stewart. Thank you. So this is the full play here. So this is a slow motion version of it. So as you guys can see here, just look at it. Boom, bro. Boom. Just completely look at Breanna Stewart's face. And this is who we got in charge of negotiating the CBAs. Look at this. Like, how do something like this happens always to the Indiana Fever, bro? All the time. And Sophie Cunningham did a double drag hard.
The Liberty came in with size, experience, and championship-level physicality. The Fever came in with something different. Caitlin Clark back on the floor, Sophie Cunningham bringing edge, and an Indiana team trying to prove it wouldn't get pushed around this season. That's why the moment mattered, because this wasn't just about points. It was about identity. Could Indiana handle the contact? Could they handle the pressure? Could they protect their stars? Could they finally punch back without losing control? For a while, the game felt physical but manageable, until one play changed the temperature entirely. The play itself became the flashpoint. Sophie Cunningham gets caught in a hard physical moment with Breanna Stewart. It happens fast. The contact comes, the whistle comes, but the reaction is what made it feel different. Players pause, fans react, the energy tightens, and suddenly this isn't just another screen or another foul. It becomes the moment everybody wants to replay.
One being that this play right here that's involving Breanna Stewart and a referee and Sophie Cunningham. Now, this was very, very interesting to me that this play went unnoticed. Now, in this play, mind you, this isn't footage that was captured by the game. This was taken by a fan in the stands. Now watch this play. Let's watch this play real quick. Let me kill the sound because it got copyright music. You guys see that? Did y'all? And now she throwing up her hands. She throwing up her hands like she ain't just damn me. Boom. Lead forward and assault Sophie Cunningham, bro. Dirty fucking play there. That was a dirty play. Now, it looked like the referee actually might caught this. It says, we need to protect our enforcer Sophie Cunningham at all costs. This cheap elbow shot by 30 on the New York Liberty team, Breanna Stewart, was not acceptable. Where were the referees?
Fever fans weren't just watching the live play anymore. They were slowing down the angles, watching Sophie take the contact frame by frame, watching the referee response, and a lot of fans felt the same thing. That looked rough. That looked dangerous. That looked like something that deserved a harder look. You can debate the call, you can debate the intent, you can debate whether it was just physical basketball or something more, but what you cannot debate is the shift that happened right after. Because Indiana didn't fold. Indiana didn't back away. Indiana changed. And the player who changed first was the one New York could least afford to wake up. When people hear that Clark exploded, they might picture yelling, pointing, some viral sideline moment where emotions boil over. But that's not what made this dangerous. Clark exploded by locking in. Her pace changed, her face changed, her control changed. She started reading the floor like the game had slowed down for her and sped up for everyone else. That's the difference between emotion and leadership. Some players get hit with a moment like that and lose their head. Clark used it. She took the energy from that foul and turned it into pressure. Every possession sharper, every pass more deliberate, every decision carrying more weight behind it. She didn't point at Breanna Stewart. She didn't sell the drama. She didn't need to. She just made New York feel the response possession by possession. Clark didn't explode by losing control. She exploded by taking it. And once Clark grabbed the controls, the Liberty's biggest problem was that Indiana had another player ready to pour fuel on the fire. Raven Johnson became the accelerator. Clark changed the control of the game. Raven changed the speed of it. Her energy gave Indiana another layer. Now the Fever weren't just emotionally awake. They were moving faster, cutting harder, reacting quicker, and forcing New York to play under constant pressure. That's when the game started to tilt, because when Clark is controlling the floor and Raven is pushing the tempo, the defense has to make impossible choices. Step up too high, and Clark sees the gap. React too late, and Raven is already gone. Overhelp, and Indiana finds the next pass before you've even recovered. That's how one hard foul becomes something much bigger. It becomes a response, it becomes momentum, it becomes a message. Once momentum flipped, New York stopped dictating the game and started chasing it. One possession became two. Two possessions became pressure. Pressure became mistakes. And mistakes became a run Indiana fans could feel building in real time. The Liberty tried to settle things down, but emotionally, the game was already moving away from them. Indiana looked different. The ball had more purpose. The cuts were harder. The Fever stopped looking like the team absorbing contact and started looking like the team controlling the fight. And that's the part Fever fans noticed immediately, because this was no longer just a response to Sophie getting fouled. This was Indiana making a statement. You could feel it in the way Clark handled the floor. You could feel it in the way Raven attacked space. You could feel it in the way the Fever refused to let the moment make them smaller. Instead, it made them sharper. That's what made the whole sequence feel bigger than the box score. Because the real reason this blew up is that Fever fans saw something they'd been waiting all offseason to see. Indiana finally looked like it had an edge. For months, the question around this team has been simple. Can they protect Caitlin Clark? Not just physically, emotionally, competitively, culturally. Can the Fever handle the league throwing pressure at them? Can they respond when games get ugly? Can they stay composed when opponents try to turn basketball into a fight? That's why Sophie Cunningham matters. She represents edge. That's why Raven Johnson matters. She represents pace and pressure. But Caitlin Clark is still the center of everything. She represents control. And when those three things show up together, edge, pace, and control, Indiana suddenly looks very different. This doesn't look like the same Fever team that absorbs the moment and waits for Clark to save them late. This version has a pulse. This version has a backbone. This version looks like it knows exactly who it's becoming. And that's what should scare the rest of the WNBA more than the foul itself. Because the foul was one moment. The response was the real story. Sophie Cunningham took the hit. Caitlin Clark saw it. Raven Johnson raised the pressure. And Indiana's entire energy changed. That's how teams grow, not in the easy moments, not when everything is clean, not when the whistle goes exactly how they want. Teams grow when something tests their identity. And this moment tested Indiana hard. Were they going to complain? Unravel? Let New York control the emotional tone of the game? Or were they going to answer? They answered, not with chaos, not with panic, not with fake toughness. They answered with control. And that's the version of Caitlin Clark the WNBA has to worry about. Not just the shooter, not just the passer, not just the highlight machine, the competitor who sees a teammate take a hit, reads the room, feels the shift, and turns the next stretch into a message. If this is the Fever's new identity, Indiana isn't just more talented this season, they're more dangerous. So the real question is simple. Was this just normal physical basketball, or did that foul wake up Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever?
Now, I told y'all, the Indiana Fever don't look too bad, baby. My goodness. They put hands, feet, kneecaps, ankle brace, a whole everything all over the whole city of New York. So Brennan Unescu and Breanna Stewart looking like ancient people.
Clark, a deep three.
She scored the first basket of the game, 9 months away from professional basketball, 2 surgeries worth of recovery, an entire season stolen by injury. And the moment Caitlin Clark stepped back onto that court against the New York Liberty, she scored the very first basket of the game.
Hit it all the way to Billings. Billings down low, hands it off to Clark. Clark being guarded by Gardner. Puts the floater up and rattles it in.
I really like the aggressiveness, and you can hear the crowd just getting into it.
The crowd lost their mind, and honestly, so did the rest of us. But here's the thing, nobody is talking about this morning. What happened after that shot is actually the more interesting story. Stick with me, because this one goes deeper than the highlight reel. Let us set the scene.
Okay. Preseason has finally kicked off. The Indiana Fever go into New York and walk out of New York with a W in hand. Things that I liked.
April 25th, 2026, the Indiana Fever opening their preseason against the defending Liberty. And Caitlin Clark playing in her first WNBA game since July 15th, 2025, 9 months and 10 days ago, walking out onto that floor with every camera in the building pointed directly at her. She admitted she had nerves, said it herself before tip-off, but she also said this, and I want you to remember this line. This isn't a real game. I understand that, but that's how we treat it, like a real game.
How much do you expect to play today? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, like 20-25 minutes is probably what you're going to see. Not like a minute restriction or anything like that. Just, wanting to see some other lineups of people that are, trying to make the team and giving them opportunities as well. So that's still a good amount of minutes. I expect to be out there, and basically I'm pretty sure we're planning on treating the first half like a real game, and I expect New York to probably do the same. And then, second half, a lot of other people are going to get some run. So, but yeah, I expect to play a good amount.
That is not a player easing in. That is a competitor. And it showed from the very first possession. Clark received the ball, attacked the paint, and scored. Just like that. First touch, first basket of the entire game. The building erupted, and then, 2 possessions later, she did the thing that has become her signature. Pulled up from 29 feet, stepped back, released it flat and clean, and watched it disappear through the net.
Yes, she is a knockdown shooter. She is feisty over there, making the offensive foul. Clark takes the 3 and drills it.
Oh my, behind the back. There's not a question that she has come up in this game, getting right early.
2 possessions, 2 makes. She looked like she had never left. And then the shooting stopped. Her final 8 shots of the game, all misses. 2 for 10 from the field overall, 1 for 5 from 3. After those 2 opening makes, Clark could not buy a basket. Now here is where most channels are going to frame this as a problem. They are going to clip the misses, write the hot takes, and tell you the rust was showing. I want to give you the actual story. Clark played 17 minutes, all in the first half. 17 minutes, managed carefully by the coaching staff, in a preseason game against a full-strength Liberty team. She had 0 turnovers. She had 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and a block. She finished +1 on the court. And when the fourth quarter came around and Indiana needed to close it out, they did not need her to do it. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough scored 9 points in a 21-4 closing run. Kelsey Mitchell and Walker-Kimbrough each finished with 18 points. Sophie Cunningham dropped 13 off the bench. The final score, Indiana Fever 109, New York Liberty 91, an 18-point blowout. This is the part that should genuinely excite every Fever fan watching this. For the past year, the narrative around Indiana has been simple. Caitlin Clark is the team. When she goes down, the team goes down with her. The 2025 season seemed to prove that point. 13 games for Clark, a season that went nowhere. But what happened on Saturday? Clark played half a game, shot 2 for 10, and Indiana still won by 18 against the New York Liberty. That is a completely different team than the one we watched in 2025. Think about what that actually means heading into a full WNBA season. Clark does not have to be perfect. She does not have to carry 35 minutes every night. She has weapons around her now. She has depth. She has a roster built to win games even on her off nights. And every great player has off nights. The pressure that used to sit entirely on her shoulders, it is spread out now. And for a player coming back from the kind of injury year she had, that changes everything. Now let us talk about the shooting, because I think it deserves honesty rather than spin. 2 for 10 is not what Clark wants. She knows that. She is the most self-aware player in this league when it comes to her own performance. And you can bet she walked off that court with a list of every shot she wants back. But here is what I noticed watching the misses. None of them were timid. None of them were the shots of a player protecting herself, second-guessing her body, playing scared. Every single attempt was aggressive and confident, the kind she would have taken in her rookie year in college, in any game at any level. The mechanics were there, the courage was there, the shots just did not fall. That is rust, and rust burns off fast. After the final buzzer, with Indiana celebrating a dominant win, Caitlin Clark was not dwelling on the shooting numbers. She was talking about the team, about the win, about what this group is capable of over a full season. That is who she is. She scored the first basket of the game when it mattered most, when 9 months of waiting and wondering and doubting was sitting on her shoulders and every eye in that building was watching. She delivered in that moment without hesitation. The rest of the game is a footnote. The 2026 season starts now. The Indiana Fever are 1-0 in the preseason. Caitlin Clark is healthy, back on the floor, and playing with zero fear. And a team that once lived and died by her every shot just beat the Liberty by 18 without her playing a single minute of the second half. The league has been put on notice, and we are just getting started. If this video got you fired up for the 2026 season, hit that like button right now. It means the world to the channel. Subscribe if you are not already on board, because we are covering every single Fever game this season as it happens. Drop your prediction for Clark's 2026 season averages in the comments. We will be reading every one.